here. And this recording will be put on our website for future viewing, and I'll drop that link in the chat at the end of the session. Also in the chat, I just put a link to log your attendance. This is important if you're getting class credit for attending this event. You want to make sure that you get that credit. So I'm going to continue to welcome people in. All right, so as I mentioned, you want to make sure you register your attendance there. And this is just where that this recording will be posted within the next few days. And just mark your calendars next Wednesday on March 30th. We have AmCore, which is going to be hosted by UW Oshkosh. We are excited to have you here today, and I'm going to drop a quick poll. If you would be willing to share what school you are attending. If the poll does not work for you, feel free to drop that in your school in the chat. We can capture it that way as well. And then we will get started here in just a few moments. Great. We will go ahead so that we can get to the point of being here today. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And while I'm doing that, I am going to introduce our guest today. Ross Martin is joining us from AVISTA. I'm excited to have him talk to you all about his employer and all the good stuff that they do. And so with that, I will stop talking and I will be monitoring chat for any questions. So if you have any questions for Ross, just drop them in there. And with that, I will turn it over.
Awesome. Thanks, Trapper. And good morning and good afternoon to everybody. I know you might not want to come off mute or be on video, but you're certainly welcome to chat throughout the conversation here. Is my audio okay? Can everyone hear me at least?
Yes, I can hear you good, Ross.
Thank you for confirming. So yes, I am here to talk about AVISTA Incorporated, which we are a business owned by Belcan Engineering. We got a little bit of company background that we can start discussing, but the primary focus is to give you a little bit of company background, industry information, career-related information to both of those aspects, and then see what remaining questions might come up. So in terms of an overview, the AVISTA location is one of Belcan's sites. So for our location, we have about 120 engineers. We've been in business about 35 years, and as a result, we've done over 1,500 projects, primarily in aerospace and defense. And a lot of that is going to be in software verification and then additional engineering work. So that's kind of where we'll start our conversation here. So again, we are in a branding transition. AVISTA was originally a private company based in Platteville, Wisconsin. And that's where we have a strong relationship with UW-Platteville, but I'm very excited to talk to other UW schools today. We've had success hiring from some others like Stout and Stevens Point and Milwaukee, but certainly want to make sure our business is known and career opportunities are known. That way, if this is something you want to pursue, you have a chance to learn more about what we do. So basically, our business model is considered engineering services. So if you think about a business either offering a product to sell to its customers or a service, we fall in the services side. So the neat thing for all of you means we are highly focused on our engineering resources here because really we believe if we can hire good engineers and retain good engineers and train strong engineering talent, that we can better serve our customers, our industries, that hopefully gives each of you a meaningful career with our company. So we have a few engineering disciplines, but our primary focus is systems, software, and electrical. taking a step back and looking at Belcan Engineering as a whole, they are one of the larger US-based engineering firms. Again, AVISTA's headquarters is here in Platteville, Wisconsin, but our owner is Belcan. They're based in Cincinnati, Ohio. We do have additional sites. Cedar Rapids, Iowa, we have another office, and then in Blaine, Minnesota, we have a third office. But again, I'm going to talk both about the AVISTA specific sites, but I also want to keep Belcan in mind. Belcan has over 55 sites in the US. So depending on where you want to potentially work and live, they've got sites in more popular areas like Phoenix, Arizona, Southern California, the Seattle, Washington area, various sites throughout Ohio and other locations in the Midwest. So I do encourage people to think of both AVISTA and Belcan as you consider career choices. Again, the type of engineering services are listed there in underlined: software, systems, and electrical or hardware. And then our primary markets are avionics or aerospace, military and defense, and then agriculture, automotive, industrial, and rail. What these industries have in common is what we call safety critical, mission critical, life critical type systems and software. That's the type of technology that we work on as a company. Moving forward, let me get this thing out of the way. All right. So it speaks to this next slide in terms of where we're headed. So for an engineer, what that really means for you is you will get a lot of variety in your work, variety in the industry, a variety in the product that you might work on, and the variety in the technology itself. So if we just use avionics, our primary industry, that could be working on a display in the cockpit of an airplane. That could be working on the engine controls or engine sensors, really any subunit of the airplane. And we've got a later slide to speak to that a little bit, but I think we look in terms of soft skills for engineers coming in. We look for people who like variety, who like change, who like to adapt to new scenarios, because when I'm out recruiting new graduates or new engineers, I make it clear there's people that have worked for our company for 25 years. They still might be doing something new for the first time starting next week. So, good or bad, that's just how our business is set up. So we prefer to be clear about that in the recruiting process. That way we try to attract people with similar, interests and qualities. At a more detailed view, I have listed here in the columns kind of what we do within software systems and hardware. So we do about 50% verification and testing, and the other 50% is design. So we do mostly embedded software. So if you're familiar with lower level programming languages like C, because we're safety critical, that's most common in our industry. We do other non-embedded software though, so you don't have to be interested in just low-level development. What I will say is we don't do a lot of web development. So that's an area, if you want to do a lot of web development and HTML, things like that, sadly, we won't have those type of programs. You can see kind of listed below in blue, more relevant skills in terms of languages that we use. So on the software side, C, C++, C#, Python, and Java. That's not 100%, but those are probably our most common. Moving into more the FPGA development or electrical engineering, if you have familiarity with VHDL or Verilog, those come into play. And then LabVIEW and MATLAB or Simulink are also relevant, but not as prominent. Those are, I think, typically more found in the mechanical engineering world. But really, any of those skills would be skills we would look to hire for, as long as that person brings in a positive attitude and is willing to try something new, grow new skills, things like that. So as a result, the primary majors that we typically recruit for would be software engineering, computer science, computer engineering, and electrical engineering. Again, we would consider like a mechanical engineer or an engineering physics or some other related degree that might have an emphasis closer to what we do. We just try to be very careful that we make sure we can provide the right type of projects and career for somebody joining the company. Back up to our columns in the middle, the systems engineering is a tough place for new graduates. There's not really a college degree that gets you prepared for that. But if you'd rather work at like a system level of an aircraft, there's a lot of system integration activities. There's a lot of planning and requirements that go on. So we do still like to advertise that really as a growth opportunity for you. that can be there for you further in your career to work in systems engineering for AVISTA. And then lastly, the hardware and electrical. Our primary focus is FPGA development. We do a little bit of hardware design in PCBs, but the majority of us focus around FPGA. Typically, a college degree won't prepare you for some of the process and control engineering that we do, but in case you are familiar, we do follow industry standards for CMMI and AS9100. AS9100 is the aerospace specific set of standards in comparison to ISO 9001. So if any of that's familiar, we are a very process and quality driven company due to the industries we support. Again, if there are questions or you want to jump in, feel free to do that. This is an easy slide because pictures, speak 1,000 words. So in order to really understand kind of what we work on, you're going to see a variety of those products here. So commercial aircraft, both the large passenger, but also smaller business or regional jets. We work on military aircraft, both the fixed wing or helicopters or rotary wing. We do some with defense products in general. So weapon systems, defense systems, satellite communication systems, radios, and related airborne or naval military products are things that we work on quite a bit. And then the bottom row are kind of our other markets, but we do work on large agriculture or industrial machines, medical devices, and rail transport as well. So again, it's all mostly in the subsystem of that end product. On the left, you see kind of a breakdown of fixed wing and rotary wing avionics. So flight management systems or GPS, flight controls, a lot of touchscreen multifunction displays. We'll do the software behind that. Pretty cool opportunities there. So I think that's a nice summary. So beyond just the engineering work that we have, we certainly want to cover some of the what makes our company special. So this speaks both to AVISTA and Belcan. I will say, thankfully, our cultures are very similar. So we do believe, in trying to put the employee first. Again, especially in our services model, where really we're selling engineering talent to our customers. We want to keep the engineers happy. We want to keep them engaged. We want to keep your skills, up to speed. So we do try to invest in training. But a lot of it comes into the cultural aspects, who you work with, what the company does for you, how we celebrate success. So again, this isn't completely inclusive of everything, but you can see on the left, a lot of our popular events that the employees enjoy taking part in. In the middle, it is a little bit more focused on UW-Platteville because of our office here in Platteville, Wisconsin, but roughly half of our grads come from UW-Platteville. Or other state schools within Wisconsin. We have a very casual dress code and flexible schedule. Again, we kind of just believe in focus on the work while you're here, but once you're done, go out and enjoy your life. We want you to have a personal life outside of work. We want you to have that balance. We do everything we can to try to maintain that for our staff. If you have been exposed at all to Agile or Scrum methodologies, that is also common for us. We have several certified Scrum Masters and certified product owners in the organization, but more or less, we just believe in that from a team a team standpoint. So we do a lot of the ceremonies and a lot of the Agile and Scrum software development techniques. In terms of benefits, so we look to hire both interns and full-time students after they graduate. Interns are typically not benefited. The only thing an intern would get for their summer they do get paid holidays. So if you're here in the summer and we have a holiday like the 4th of July, that would be a paid day off. Otherwise, you really just get your base pay and that's it. For full-time engineering positions, there's a quick summary of the standard benefits that we offer. Beyond that, some other things we care about as an organization or things I think are important for you to try to understand from us is, and I did see quite a few females join the call, which is awesome. So we are a big proponent for moving forward women in STEM, women in technology fields these days. A lot of our support is on campus at UW-Platteville through their Women in STEM banquet. We support the advisory board for the Women in Engineering, Mathematics, and Science at UW-Platteville. And then some other local things that we celebrate would be a Women Leading Change conference, which is less focused on women in technology, but just women in various industries. But we try to sponsor and support and invite our females to attend that conference each year. And then we take some special time throughout the year to recognize, women in engineering. There's a specific Women in Avionics Day. There's Engineering Week and a few things like that. And then finally, a local program is called Girls Who Code. This year, we're proud to say we financially supported through a donation, but we also have always supported through mentoring and being here as a resource through that program. So I spoke to it briefly earlier, but each summer we typically bring in 5 to 10 interns, either in the software focus or the electrical and FPGA focus. Those positions are typically located in Platteville, Wisconsin, or Cedar Rapids, Iowa. We are willing to entertain remote candidates, but I want to be upfront and say we typically look for candidates who can be on site first. And if we fill all of our hiring needs that way, that's our preference. If we have additional needs that haven't been met, then we will typically look to open it up to remote options. So we sadly do not provide housing for interns, so it is something you would have to figure out. But if you are potentially at a different, UW school, but are possibly from the Platteville area or have friends down here that you could stay with for the summer, we would certainly be happy to entertain, internship candidates from other UW schools. One thing our student workers really like a lot is if the summer goes well and your fall semester isn't too difficult, we do try to maintain part-time employment for you into the semester and let you earn a good living that way. So currently, all of our summer internship positions are filled for 2022, but I do want to get the word out there and start getting people prepared for summer 2023. In terms of full-time positions, we are looking for additional full-time hires, now or in the May graduation timeframe. Again, that's going to be more focused in software or electrical and FPGA, but any related major or interest that you might have, skills you might have in terms of software development, software engineering would be relevant and things that we would want to entertain. I have our website at the final slide, but your best place to go out and get company information or to view the job postings would be on Belcan's website, which again, I have later. In terms of what a career is here beyond just the work, we have 3 primary career tracks, or I guess I should have called them career treks for today's call. If you really enjoy the technical work and basically want to continue to be an engineer and not really do anything beyond the engineering work, we call it a pure technical track. So you would earn senior titles like senior engineer, staff engineer, principal engineer, or even a fellow engineer. So that would be one career track you could consider. Secondly, if you wanted to move more into some level of project management or program management where you are still contributing at a technical level, but you might be managing the customer or managing the cost of the program or the schedule of the program or the engineering resources on the program, that would move you into that second project leadership where you might still have a senior engineer title, but more likely you would have a project engineer or a program manager title. Then the third option is really more focused on people leadership. Pretty much every position here does end up being pretty technical in itself. So all of your engineering background usually is helpful for you. But if you like doing more of the hiring and the employee relations and the interviewing and recruiting, but also doing some of the project management, then really the people leadership path is where you would want to be. You might, again, still have a senior engineering title working toward a different title, or otherwise you'd be more likely in a project engineer or program manager title. We try to be very flexible with people, meaning you don't have, there's no form you fill out to say which path you want to be on. You're not stuck in one path. You really could kind of weave throughout your career wherever your skills and interests are. But we do try to let people know this is kind of how we have it set up from a leadership standpoint. Work with your manager if you enjoy one of these 3 areas more than another, and we could try to give you opportunities to let you grow and perform work in an area that's of most interest to you. So I certainly wanted to make sure we had time for Q&A, especially because of the variety in our work. Sometimes it can be hard for us to describe what an engineer really does. So in summary, I just want to be clear. A lot of it is embedded software, so low-level programming, software testing, software verification, software development, and then we do quite a bit of troubleshooting, code reviews for our customers, code conversion if they have it in one language and they want us to create something similar in a new language. Those are pretty similar or common software activities that we perform. And it's very similar on the electrical engineering side, but it's more focused on PCBs or hardware design or FPGA development, but there's still quite a bit of testing and requirements that we go through with the customer to make sure that the specs are met either for the customer's needs or for the government certification process that they might go through. And then finally, systems engineering, again, kind of helps pull all of that together. And that's where it's hard for a new graduate to move into systems engineering because you typically need some experience in software or in FPGAs to help be a systems engineer for us. But essentially that's what we look for. And again, we will entertain other majors, but software engineering major, computer science major, electrical engineering, computer engineering are all very relevant for the type of work that we have. So feel free to take some notes on my information here. That's my direct phone number and my direct work email. On the right, I have both our AVISTA Incorporated website and Belcan's website. This is good timing for us. We are in a branding transition. This year, we do plan to drop the AVISTA name and move over to Belcan's name completely. So if we do a career trek again, or if I'm at a career fair or you see job postings for Belcan, hopefully that gets you excited because that's that in the future, that will be who we are. And we're just slowly working through that branding transition. As we open things up for questions, I'll leave this appendix here. Again, this is just some additional information. If you're unfamiliar with our industry or what we might work on, this shows the type of end product that we're typically working on. About 80% of our work is captured here.
Great. Thank you so much, Ross, for that great overview of everything that you do. And I will admit, you all have a big presence on our campus and I still learned a bunch in this. So I appreciate that. So now I'd like to open it up for anybody that might have questions for Ross. You're welcome to drop them in the chat. I think while folks are thinking about that, I do have a question that I'd like to use to kind of open it up. You spend a lot of time talking about the majors and the software skills, which is always really great to know. What are some, maybe technical skills that you find is really beneficial for a potential intern or entry-level position?
Yeah, good point for sure. So I really think communication for us is key. And I would put communication at the same value as technical skills for our business. Because we are a services company, we're almost always working in a team setting. We're almost always communicating directly with the customer. So the engineers we hire, we do look for people that are comfortable in front of a customer, have good written and oral communication. And then being a good team player, and that's hard to measure, but again, we're very collaborative. Because our industry is highly regulated, a lot of new hires coming in simply need some additional guidance and assistance. So we need people that are willing to take that guidance and take that feedback and improve upon it. So I think really between just being a good team player, bringing in a positive attitude, willing to work on whatever, and bringing good communication skills would probably be some primary soft skills that we would recruit for.
Great. Awesome. Thank you. All right. Zhang, looks like you have your hand up. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I have one question about, this company provides some visa for international work.
I didn't quite catch all that. I heard international work, but I didn't catch anything of that.
Are you asking about the opportunities for international students?
Yes.
Okay.
Sadly, we cannot. We would need U.S. person or U.S. citizenship status. We are a federal contractor, so regulated by the ITAR. So no, visa candidates are sadly something we can't support, but permanent residents or U.S. persons would qualify for work here.
Great question. Other questions?
About I remember you mentioned the computer science, but I'm not sure your company is about making company as a computer science student or major. I'm not sure I have the yeah, I'm not sure I have enough knowledge about engineer or your company engineer. I'm just studying coding, just studying computer science.
Yeah, let me know if I don't answer this correctly, but I agree. When we recruit computer science degrees, we are still asking you to be a programmer or a developer. We do not offer like IT type work. We don't have networking and infrastructure and firewalls and switches. We wouldn't have that. But if you enjoyed programming or coding, we have quite a few computer science degrees that are in the company with the software engineer title. Awesome.
Other questions?
We really are, early in your career, whether it's an internship or fresh college graduation, again, people with the right attitude, the right communication, we're really willing to give people a try. Our industry is very regulated. It's really hard to find students that have industry experience coming in. So for us, if you have a variety of programming skills and an interest in working in aerospace and defense and enjoy a variety in work, I know that sounds pretty simple, but really that's kind of our baseline measure as we look at talent. It's just to make sure people are going to enjoy being here. Because if you're here and you're engaged, we think you're going to perform well. If we brought a computer science student in that wanted to build up a whole new network, they would be very unhappy with our work because we wouldn't give them that opportunity.
Ross, there's a follow-up question. Are international students able to do internships?
Sadly not. No, we can't hire any position for any position that's not U.S. person or U.S. citizen. Yeah, I like to have the tries. There's definitely individuals that, especially like UW-Madison, that I run into on an annual basis. The ITAR is International Traffic in Arms Regulation. So the long story short is essentially, if we don't have an IT system that would isolate non-US persons from the information. So it kind of goes back to trade compliance and export compliance, where sadly, just by having you on the network is a violation of what the federal government has put out for requirements. And you will, if you're interested in aerospace and defense, you will sadly probably run into that with the majority of the employers.
Appreciate the clarification on the reasoning behind that. Any other questions?
There has to be at least one or two more. Did people find this useful? Did you know AVISTA existed? Is anybody passionate about aerospace and defense? Did I put everybody to sleep? Is that what happened here, Trapper?
I guess I do have a bit of a follow-up question on something that you had mentioned about, if an intern does really well and have the ability to, kind of continue the employment into the semester, is that something that could be remote?
Yes. So what we would try to do there is get you on site for the summer or the majority of summer and kind of show you how things work, get you some support. And then if you're operating effectively at that stage, then yes, you could potentially work remote on a part-time basis for sure. That's one thing where I know COVID is tough and it's really not something I want to discuss, but I would say it certainly has pushed our organization forward in terms of having better communication tools, better communication cadence, and more willingness to look at people that are remote, because we love being here in Platteville, but our main reason for losing people is they don't want to be in Platteville. So yes, we typically bring in close to 20 new grads or interns every year total. And we are finding within 3 years of employment, they are asking to move. And we're now in a position to say, yes, you can remain employed. You can move anywhere within the US and keep your job and continue to work with your teams. So Awesome. We did get some positive feedback in the chat too. So really happy to hear it is useful and that there maybe wasn't awareness of our company previously. So that's great.
I know personally, I've only heard good things from students that have had internships with you all. So they will tell us if it's not a great experience.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, we're pretty laid back here. We do have a formal internship program. So to describe that a little bit until any better questions come up, we essentially do a summer kickoff where we bring all the interns in together, meet with our entire leadership team, and kind of just welcome you, give you that chance to ask any questions you might have. You know, if you're unsure of something, it's just kind of a safe place to have lunch and talk with some leaders here at our site. And then you kind of go off and do engineering work for the majority of the summer. We take a break, usually in July. I think there's National Internship Day somewhere in July that we usually celebrate through something similar, an ice cream social. We just kind of get employees together. And then again, you go back and perform your engineering work the rest of summer. And then we kind of conclude things with an internship presentation, recap what you did this summer, what was your favorite thing, what was your most scary moment, any lessons learned, kind of what you want to do long term, and if our company fits into that picture. And the vision there is it gives you a chance, you know, you're going to probably work under one manager here in an internship, but we have 8 managers in the company for Platteville. So if you only work for one manager and maybe he or she doesn't have a job for you, it's your chance to kind of showcase yourself that way. Say, hey, we want to retain Trapper, but his manager doesn't have an opening, but hey, this other manager has an opening. That's your chance to kind of highlight yourself, what you did, and give a different manager a chance to see you, and try to, again, give every intern an opportunity to work here full time if that's something they desire.
You had mentioned that you are full for 2022 internships. When do you start accepting applications for the next summer?
We will actually start accepting them this fall. So we usually use the fall career fair to start that process. It's a little bit tough for the fall career fair because sometimes we wait to spring as well to collect all interest. So yes, but we will start this fall already recruiting for the summer 2023 internship positions. Our goal is to basically attend fall, attend spring, and then by spring break, get all interviews completed, offers out, decisions made, and that way we can hopefully come back from spring break with everybody kind of know what's going on.
And I know you mentioned that you post all those opportunities on Belcan's website, but before the event, you were talking about you do utilize Handshake as well for the postings. So
Yes.
we're all on there, so you can definitely check there too this coming fall if you're interested in learning more. So
yeah, great comment. Yes, I really try to maintain Handshake. It does redirect to our main Belcan.com careers page, which is fine, but yes, any internship or full-time positions are typically listed on Handshake. And even though we don't always attend career fairs at other UW schools, I do usually list all the UW schools that are in Handshake. So previously, those were probably listed under AVISTA Incorporated. Going forward, again, just be aware, sometime in the next 6 to 12 months, we'll probably completely remove the AVISTA name and just post jobs as Belcan Engineering.
all right, I think I'm going to go ahead and issue the last call for questions. Ross, while I'm waiting, if you want to put your slide back up with your contact information in case somebody might want to ask something not in front of the full group, they have a way to get a hold of you. So
absolutely.
All right, I'm not seeing any more coming in. So again, at this point, I'll like to thank you for students. If you didn't get a chance to register your attendance in the link in the chat, be sure to do that before you log off today. As I mentioned, this will be posted on the CareerTrex website. So if you have a friend that after hearing this, you're like, oh, I think they'd be really interested, be sure to share that. Students are some of our best marketing tools. So do refer this to other students. And again, thank you for attending, and thank you to the the Career Treks committee for doing all the background work with this. And of course, thank you, Ross, for spending some of your Wednesday talking to us today. I know, like I said, I learned a lot, and you're in our backyard. So hopefully everybody learned something useful, and you all are on their radar now. So
yes, thank you, everybody. Really appreciate you taking some time to come learn more about us, and good luck in your career. You know, whether you choose to consider AVISTA or another field, I really think it's a great time to be an engineer or pursuing any technology related degree. So good luck to each of you. But yes, please know that we're here, and we will be looking going forward.
thank you all so much. Have a great day.